Buenas tardes, señor presidente. Una pregunta en inglés, si puede ser.
Sí, claro, en inglés no hay problema.
Thank you. I don't think anybody could suggest that you haven't changed the face of security in El Salvador over the past 5 years. But my question is really about where things go forward from here, and specifically in terms of the thousands who are believed by human rights organisations to have no discernible link to gang crime, who are believed to have been swept up in the dragnet of arrests. Specifically, I've got a case that I've been looking at of a young man called Jose Mata Alvarado, and I can pass obviously on all the details to your team. His mother was bringing food to the prison where he was at. It turns out he'd been moved to the Secot some weeks, months in fact, earlier, while she was faithfully bringing food to the prison. It seems like he's completely lost in the system, and there are 2 órdenes de liberación in his name, one as recently as June last year, and yet he's simply not been released, even though the 20 days is obviously now 6 months ago, by which time he should have been out. I'm wondering if your intention is to sort of work on the legal side of things, assuming you win today and that you are president for the next 5 years, to start unpicking those sorts of problems and errors in the state of exception. And secondly, if you also plan to only serve 1 more term from here, and if you don't plan to lift term limits altogether.
Thank you. Well, it's important to say that every police in the world, because I find this somewhat amusing when they say, oh, but you know, in El Salvador, they arrest people, and some of the arrested are innocent. And I'm a little baffled because I wonder if in the UK, all of the arrests are of guilty people, or your police sometimes arrest innocent people. I mean, I bet there will be a percentage of people arrested by UK police, the police of the government that you work for, and they will arrest sometimes innocent people as a mistake or because they had a wrong tip, but they will go to a judicial system. If there were no arrest of innocents if there was one police in the world, one police force, UK, Spain, France, you name it, any country, the US, Canada, any police force that has only has 0% of margin of error, they only arrest guilty people. Why will you need prosecutors or defense or a justice system? You won't need that because the police is perfect in your country. So every country in the world will have an imperfect police. Now, it is different when you have in countries that promote ethnic cleansing, for example, or they arrest political opponents, or they arrest a minority. But in our case, all of the arrests are made to end the bloodshed that we lived for decades, and we have ended it. Now, did our police made a couple of mistakes? Of course they did. That's why our judicial system has been freed innocent people, and they will free every innocent people that the police has wrongly arrested. And we have already freed 7,000 people. Now, I would assume that the criticism may come from a hypothetical country that doesn't have any arrest of innocents. But I'm sure that in the UK, they do plenty of arrest of innocent people, and then they are proven innocent in court. But sometimes, and we have seen a lot of cases in the US, in the UK, in Europe, that they find them that they're innocent 20, 30 years after being convicted because they found some DNA evidence. So what does that mean? That means that you shouldn't arrest criminals? No, it means that police made a mistake and some retributions have to be made to the people that have been arrested wrongfully. But we don't think, we think it's weird, or we're baffled by the criticism of something that you well know that any police in the world would make, which is a small percentage of innocent people getting in the net.
One point on that, of course,
yes,
though, is that 75,000 people in the space of a year isn't regularly arrested by police anywhere else in the world, and that this is a unique situation with unique powers given to the security forces to make arrests on site according to criteria deemed by them.
Yes, of course, because you don't live in the world murder capital. So when you don't live in the world murder capital, it's because you don't have enough murderers to fill a prison like ours. Because the difference is that in the UK is not the world murder capital. El Salvador was, by your own accounts, the world murder capital. So if we have the world murder capital, the most dangerous place in the world, the place in the world with the most murders, why is that? Because we have the place in the world with the biggest amount of murderers. So of course, you cannot arrest 70,000 people because you don't have 70,000 murderers because you're not the murder capital of the world. But we did have 70,000 murderers, and that's just a number that coincidentally is the number that we arrested. Every study made by the World Bank, by the NGOs, by the experts, way before our government, established that there were at least 70,000 gang members and 500,000 collaborators. That was established not by our government, but by NGOs, by the experts in the topic. They always said, El Salvador has at least 70,000 gang members and 500,000 collaborators. So you would expect that to end that, you would need to arrest 570,000 people. But of course, we want to be careful and don't arrest the lady that probably helped because she thought that she needed to help because her life was in danger. So we're sparing 85% of the tally that the organizations that you finance established way before our government. So why do we have the biggest incarceration rate in the world? Because we changed the murder capital of the world, the world's most dangerous country, into the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. And the only way to do that is to arrest all the murderers. There's no other way to do it. Well, the other way to be to kill all the murderers, but we don't have death penalty, so we have to arrest all the murderers. So you say, why is such a big number? Well, what do you expect? That we arrest 100 people and we leave 69,900 gang members in the streets and suddenly the murder rate will drop? Or do you expect that because we're Salvadorans or something, because we're second-class citizens or something, we have to die? They have to kill our families, they have to kill our children, because your liberal ideas of what a democracy should be have to be respected, and since we're not using your recipe, then we have to be killed, we have to let our children be killed, we have to let the bloodshed to go on for 50 years because of imported policies from your countries, because your countries had lectured us in the 80s, the war. You had a fight with the Soviet Union, had nothing to do with us. What did you do? You financed El Salvador to fight a war between us, between brothers. And we killed each other, and 85,000 Salvadorans died. After that, 1 million displaced. They went to the US, into ghettos. They formed the gangs, then they deport the gangs. Gangs come here. You send us another recipe. Law to don't arrest minors. Okay, but all the gang members were minors at the time. So gangs grew, and then they terrorized the country. They started killing people, and we became the murder capital of the world. Nobody could solve it. We took the recipes from the OAS, we took the recipes from the UN, we took the recipes from the European Union, we took the recipes from the United States. None of the recipes worked. More bloodshed, more people were dying. So what do? Okay, we do something and we save people. And now we're the safest country in the Western Hemisphere. But suddenly something's bad. Oh, but you shouldn't do that. You should do what I think you should do. Why? Not only we have the right to do what we think is right, and what the Salvadoran people are going to decide whether or not they want this day in free elections, but also we've proven it works. And you haven't proven that your system works in our country. Might work in yours, I don't know. But it doesn't work in ours. It's like I told one time a member of the European Union, I know you Brexited that, but I told a member of the European Union, you take your best government, choose your best government. I don't know what's the best government in Europe, but you choose your best government. Same people, same talent, same experts, same will to do things the right way. You take your best government and you put him to govern Afghanistan and tell them, okay, you govern Afghanistan the same way you govern this European country. They'll be dead in a week. Because you cannot govern Afghanistan like you govern Europe. So stop trying to make us use your recipes because they don't work here. You have your own system. We don't tell you that you shouldn't have a monarchy. I mean, we're fine with your monarchy. We love your monarchy. It's fine. But we don't say, oh, you shouldn't have a monarchy and you shouldn't have hereditary titles. Why? Because it's your country. You can do whatever you want with it. But suddenly, we have to do what you want to do with our country. So, what I'm gonna finish the question is that this has been proven by all of you and by all independent sources. El Salvador was turned from the most dangerous place in the world to the safest in the Western Hemisphere. That's not a small feat, and that's not done easily. And nobody in the world has ever done it before, so fast and so clean like we have done it here, with no civilian casualties. So, I don't know. I know it's different. I know the numbers from the UK and ours will be different for maybe a couple of decades, but we're doing our best here, and we're really trying, and the Salvadoran people today are going to vote freely in free and fair elections and in full democracy and choose their own path. Thank you.